Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, see, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And another wonderful performance by Mallory Hall. And she's been doing this quite a few years, but back in 2001, the first time she did it was still. Hello? Hello? What do we got leading the way down at the bottom of the track, bringing him out? He's got his flag on there. I believe that is George Kindos out of Kent. He was talking, he wanted to get his lawnmower together, didn't have enough time. Following him was the DG1. That's the D9G. Clint McCarty out of Minerva. The 14cc Cheyenne Skinner also out of Minerva. The 97X Wes Jones out of Malvern, sponsored by Mangled Metal Productions. Like they're trying to get George lined up out there. He's trying to figure out where to park. Wayne Mason Jr. is on the 88 out of Rootstown. The number 19, Fred Kochner out of Canton. The 412 is Cedric Brown out of Ravenna. The 43, Joshua Mink out of Streetsboro. The 88X, Richard Hill out of Canton. AMSS 18 is Michael Walters Sr. out of Ravenna, sponsored by Dennis Walters. The 25, Andy Larkins out of Waynesburg. 69, Eric Bennett out of Massillon, sponsored by Pops Inc. 73 is Talon Harper out of Canton. And the 21, J.R. Patterson, also out of Canton.
Another truck in there.
Okay, looks like George has been a big friend of the Demolition Derbies. He's out there in the pits from the time we get here in the morning, and he wanted to do something and be part of it, so he wanted to come out. But anyway, George's been coming around here for about the last 5 years. He's always enjoyed it, so they bring him out, and he spends all day with us, so he wanted to be part of things tonight, so we got him into the show here, and he got his flag on his vehicle there, and we always enjoy having him around in the pits while everything's going on before the shows. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let them go! And the action's now underway here in the lawnmower event. And I'll tell you, folks, already, hold them up. Already got one up and over. Now, as we have talked, that's one of the things. Oh, boy, that thing's going from bad to worse there. Doggone it. I think he's going to go ahead and. So, a quick night for that machine. I couldn't quite read the number, but they're going to turn them back loose. You can see a few of these guys definitely get the. another one has been dismounted already. Hold them up, fellas. I don't think these guys want to go, and it looks like somebody's got a loaded tire out there that's been punctured. Hold them up, fellas. Hold them up. They are just. This is one of the reasons we kind of had to water the track down a little bit. These guys roll bars of sorts, but you can see that doesn't go very far. And some of them, they really put some different pulleys and get them going pretty fast, such as the 69 of Eric Bennett out of Maslin. He's got that thing going pretty good front and rear. Wayne Mason Jr. is in the 88. And that looks like a familiar helmet out there on the 97X of Wes Jones out of Malvern. I believe he was one of them last night. If not, that was the same type of helmet that somebody was wearing. The 14cc, Shanna Skinner was here out of Minerva last night. And also the third one was the D9G, Clint McCarty. The machine was there. Somebody else was on the machine last night. You can see things kind of moving around and getting interesting. We've already got a few of them off the track at present time. Got at least one of them, possibly two, trying to get restarted. As you can see, when they weld these things up, it gets pretty interesting because these guys don't have a lot of give to these lawn mowers. When they hit, the only thing that really gives is the driver coming up off the seats. So we are going to be paying 3 spots in here.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking at this point.
First place is going to win $300. Second place, $200, and third place is $100, I believe, is what I was told. The D9G of Clint McCarty coming around, and I'll tell you, this is getting kind of serious up there, the way these things are popping around. These mowers can go up in a big hurry, and looks like we had a little bit of sparkage coming off the number 43, I believe it was. Now that was a 73 of Talon Harper out of Canton. See, the number 19 looks like he did a little modifications to that. It's got it sitting pretty low, at least where the driver's sitting. That's one of the things they do, try to get the center of gravity on these things down. And there goes that number 69. He's got a pretty good clip on it. The only problem he has is getting that thing to turn as fast as it's going. That's Eric Bennett out of Maslin. These guys are hooked one bumper to bumper, but that if we had a wheelie contest, I'd say Eric Bennett on that 69 would probably be going for the distance record. Also have the 88 still running. That's Wayne Mason Jr. out of Rootstown. The 69, he's having a problem keeping that front end on the ground. He definitely got her hyped up. The number 25 kind of swinging around. That's Andy Larkins out of Waynesburg, going around a few stalled tractors that are out on the track. I think we've got about 8 or 9 of them left. This is something that, if you have an old tractor laying around the house, you can't quite figure out what to do with it, and this looks like something that might interest you. You can always get her ready for next year. Just a couple years ago, we only had 2 tractors show up. They did a exposition type heat, and these have really grown. We've had as many as 40 and 50 tractors at one time. And quite surprisingly, it does get pretty loud out there right now. The D9G of Clint McCarty kind of nosing it together with, I believe, that was the 25 of Andy Larkins. And there goes another tire. Number 19 lost all the ballast that he had in that. Now it's Fred Kochner out of Canton. That's one of the other tricks, just to get a little bit more weight way down low on these lawnmowers. Number 73, Talon Harper. I believe that's his machine that's kind of running loud out there. Sounds like he may have lost the muffler. I don't remember that thing being quite that loud. And hold him up. We got the number 69, Eric Bennett, trying to set the... These fellas don't want to stop. Hold him up, fellas. Hold him up. Hold him up. I think he was trying... Eric Bennett officially might have to carry that one off. We got a couple of them kind of down on the ground. Number 19 lost that tire and really slowing Fred Kochner down quite a bit. Number 88 coming in there, Wayne Mason Jr. out of Rootstown, going into the side of the 14cc of Cheyenne Skinner out of Minerva. It looks like the number 73, Talon Harper's off of his ride. And right now we may be down to just about 6 of them left on the tracks. They got a 50-50 chance of getting into the prize money. Even with the 19, he's over and almost thought he was going off of that thing. And doggone it, looks like he has exited. That was Fred Kochner out of Canton. Exiting the track. Night kind of went south after that tire went flat and kind of threw things a little bit off the side. These guys seem to have a lot of fun. The ones that were out here last night, we see at least 3 of them that have chains on the back, get a little extra traction out there. The 14cc of Cheyenne Skinner, the D9G of Clint McCarty, all running chains, and so is the number 97X of Wes Jones out of Malvern. Little tractors are kind of churning the track up pretty well. There goes the 14cc of Cheyenne Skinner going nose to nose with the 88 of Wayne Mason Jr. out of Rootstown. And now we are down to 5, and it looks like the number 25 of Andy Larkins out of Waynesburg is having a little bit of a rough time. He's got a tire down in the back. Looks like he's got something spewing out of it. Not quite sure what he had in there for ballast, but looks like the number 88 was momentarily stalled out. Wayne Mason Jr. out of Rootstown back on the move. Didn't get very far before the D9G of Clint McCarty came in there. Give him a pretty good hit in the side. And there goes some more something floating out of the side of one of them tires. Yet I'm not quite sure what they got in there. Kind of an interesting mix on that number 25 of Andy Larkins out of Waynesburg. Here comes the 14cc Cheyenne Skinner running around the corner. And now we got a couple of them. Looks like they're having some technical difficulties. They're hung up over there. The 88 and the 97X of Wes Jones. And the 88 does show movement. And Wayne Mason Jr. is back on the move. And it looks like he is exiting that machine. So Wayne Mason Jr. essentially out of contention right now. Like the number 25, Andy Larkins, it's like he's currently got the D9G parked up. He's Once again loose, but he's just having a little bit of trouble getting that thing going with that flat tire on the backside. He's going around with that blue lawnmower, kind of shoved off to the side. And they're starting to drop like flies. Getting now down to 4 of them. Top 3 are going to be getting some money. One more is going to have to be eliminated. It's like the chains are starting to come off the number 97X. Wes Jones has got some issues on the backside, the right rear of his machine. Almost got a little whoop-de-doo on the 14cc. Cheyenne Skinner prepared to go for a bit of a loopy-loo out there on that orange tractor. Wes Jones finding his reverse gear and getting that thing back underway. They're all going to migrate to the middle of the track.
Is that too dark? There's a light, big light.
Oh, okay. That's why we like to get them going early. They're pretty darn good. That looked like a little bit of a close call on the number 25. Andy Larkin's got that mower popped up there. The 14cc of Cheyenne Skinner kind of popped up almost over the protector bar. Things getting a little serious now. That flat tire definitely not helping his case on the number 25. Andy Larkin looks like he's going to swing it around and take a little different look at things. I think he's finding out he's not in the best predicament. They got these things built pretty well. I know my tractor stopped a couple of times when I try to get my lawn mowed. Usually stops when the rain's coming.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1,
Okay, looks like the number 97X having a couple technical difficulties. Wes Jones trying to refire his tractor out there. He's got that green Mohawk on the helmet. Got a slow roll going back. Not sure if that was gravity or if he actually got it refired. Seconds ticking by. Got some problems with the number 25. Andy Larkin's rocking and rolling on the blue machine. Number 97X still on the timer. Looks like things are starting to go south on a few of these. Again, the top three are going to be in prize money tonight. It looks like we are down to just two of them. The D9G, Clint McCarty out of Minerva. And the 14cc, Cheyenne Skinner, also out of Minerva. Looks like she's got some trouble. She's showing the signs that she's done, so I believe that means your yellow tractor, the D9G, Clint McCarty out of Minerva, is going to be first place. Second place is the 14cc of Cheyenne Skinner. And the third place is the number 25. Andy Larkins out of Waynesburg. Congratulations to those three drivers. Appreciate them for bringing their mowers out here. He proposed to his sweetheart. That's Chris Villers out of Ravenna. And by the way, she did say yes. So he is officially amongst the engaged with Amanda now. So, and by the way, that's Amanda's brother. And then number 38, Adam Somerville out of Suffield, sponsored by Suffield Carryout and Taylor Construction. The number 62, Logan Blake out of Mogador. The number 527, Cody Christie out of Kent, sponsored by Collision Craft. The number 01, Sean Petrie out of Manaway, sponsored by Sean Petrie Horseshoeing. The number 88, Justin Adelman out of Ravenna, sponsored by Bruno's Pizza and Joe's Auto. The number 119, Marty Shields out of Akron, sponsored by Anything Automotive. I'm not sure what that number is. I do see the 83, Jason Webb out of Atwater, sponsored by Dottie's Detour. The number 15, Zach Kochner out of Ravenna, sponsored by the Well Doctor. Josh Reed's in the 735 out of Kent, sponsored by Keller Williams and Kathy Reed. I believe that's Scott Berkeley in the number 12 out of Atwater, sponsored by Keller Williams and Kathy Reed. Douglas Morey, the second out of Atwater, sponsored by Kelly Williams and Kathy Reed. Todd Pfeiffer's in the 707 out of Kenton. The Gen 1, Kevin Kirkley out of Ravenna, sponsored by Kirkley Auto Wrecking. The number 218, Ben Harper is here from Ravenna. I believe that must be the number 19 of Robert Heater Sponsored by Mid-Vid Auto and McLean Home Improvement out of Ravenna, the number 19. As best I can tell, that's the 3C. Must be Jason Ponick out of Kent. Sponsored by Mash and Gash Motorsports. I know we did have one sneak on that the number was kind of obscured, and I can't tell. I think it could have been the number 7 of Scott Wright out of Ravenna. We also had the number 13. I can't tell the car that didn't make it onto the track. We did have the Bobby Conley in the 13 out of Talmadge, sponsored by 3C Towing.
You're saying this is the money race, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's give them a countdown, starting with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let them go! And the action's now underway here at the Smash It, Crash It, Tear 'em Up Automobile Demolition Derby mini car event. Now, once again, folks, this is the money round, and you're going to see some bashing, crashing action right here, because this is essentially the heat and the feature all rolled into one. And look at the number 38 go, folks. That was Adam Somerville out of Suffield. He was up on top of one of them other vehicles. As things happened so quickly, I didn't catch who he rode up on top of. I know he was having some issues with his engine, and he said he was going to go out there and just enjoy things while he could, but my goodness, the number 01 definitely making some good time. That was Sean Petrie out of Manaway heading down to the far end of the track at a lickety-split high rate of speed. Making good contact. Right. 715, Chris Villers using the nose of his machine as a battering ram, heading on down the track. There's the number 119 on the move, Marty Shields from Akron. Looks like we have some trouble with Scott Berkeley's number 12. He's here out of Atwater. A few of them getting a little bit on the tire side, including the quarter pounder. Not a whole lot of movement out of Ron Kennedy's machine. Looks like he's trying to get it refired. As so is Kevin Kirkley from Ravenna in the Gen 1. The 38's back on the way. Adam Somerville out of Suffield running strong. He's over there next to the 707 of Todd Pfeiffer out of Kenton. Right now, Carl Buddy Schaefer is in the 2.5, nose to nose with the number 69 of Danny Snyder out of Deerfield. And look at the 88 go. That was Justin Edelman out of Ravenna. He was out there doing a pretty good job, and I'll tell you, he really kind of folded that 88 up. He went back to back with a Midway Auto. I believe that's the number 19. That's the only one I got sponsored by Midway Auto, but I don't see a number on it as of right now. Number 69, Danny Snyder, doesn't appear to be moving too much. The 527 also having some serious technical problems. Just not moving a whole lot down at that end. It looks like a rough night for a few of these guys right off the bat. The Cody Christie did run last night, and that car has had a little bit of a rough time. I believe Ron Kennedy was here as well in the quarter pounder. A lot of repeat performers down there. The Gen 1 was here, Kevin Kirkley. He's down at the far end of the track as well. Not a whole lot of movement. These guys, I'll tell you, these cars just getting a little bit tired because they were out here. It's their second night of hard-hitting bumper-to-bumper action here at the Smash 'Em Demolition Derby night number 2. That's your 2010 Portage County Randolph Fair. The 218, like he's taking advantage of all the room he's got. That was Ben Harper out of Ravenna, muscling his way down the track. He's real close right there with the 715 close in tow. The number 13, it looks like, is in track central. Can't quite tell. That might be the make out the number. That must be Bobby Conley out of Talmadge. Bobby's going to take one heck of a hit in the nose, courtesy of Chris Villers in the number 715. And I think Chris just lost part of his automobile. After that last hit on the number 13, Bobby Conley still sitting over there in a cloud of smoke, and there he was at least reaching for the flag to fold it down, taking himself out of contention. We'll see how things go, but his night might just be over. Down at the other end, it looks like the number 15 still showing some movement. Zach Kochner out of Ravenna. He's currently trying to hammer his way into the nose of the number 7 of Scott Wright out of Ravenna. Next to him for 2.5, Carl Buddy Schaefer. He's getting kind of shoved in the side right now. Swung around the number 62 of Logan Blake out of Mogador, trying to make the breakaway, and he's getting out to track central. Looks like Bobby Conley in the 13 is back moving once again after he took that wild hit in the nose from Chris Villers in the 715. Chris looked like he momentarily stalled out, but he's trying to get her going once again. Not sure. It looks like he might have a problem of some sort with it wanting to fire up, obviously. Bobby Conley out of Talmadge going down to put a tap on the 707 of Todd Pfeiffer out of Kenton. They're back toward the western end of the track. Got a few cars right in track central, including the 715 of Chris Villers. Carl Buddy Schaefer in the 2.5, kind of working his way over there. And the number 62, Logan Blake, kind of coming into the picture as well. Carlos Dawes is in the number 40. Still not quite sure. We have one car out there that not able to make the number out too well. Jason Ponick is out there in the number 3. Haven't talked about him too much tonight, but he's here out of Kent. Sponsored by the Mash and Gash Motor Sport. And I believe that it looks like Chris Villers taking himself out of contention. He was doing some good driving out there. It looks like the old 715 just didn't want to refire for him here in the late going. So his night is over. Looks like his future brother-in-law, Adam Somerville, has had the same problem. I know he was talking in the inspection line that he was having some serious issues with the motor on the number 38, so he was just wanting to come out here and have fun as long as his engine would last. Looks like hopefully he did just that. It looks like a number 62, Logan Blake, having one heck of a time as he's giving the old fist pump out the hood of his car. Got the sunroof open and enjoying this wonderful night. Got the red sky at night right behind us here on the western sky. So hopefully that means good things to come. Number 7, running strong. Throwing her in drive, Scott Wright out of Ravenna. He's sponsored by Terry Montz. He's kind of working track central in that hot pink and black machine. Number 13 is going to sneak around the backside of him. Bobby Conley out of Talmadge. Number 15, Zach Kochner out of Ravenna. He's kind of got that, kind of looks like a camouflage looking car. The 62 definitely got the breakaway. He's got the most real estate to work with. Logan Blake, he's got that blue machine. Looks like his favorite vehicle right now is going to be the number 13. I'll tell you, folks, Logan Blake in the 62's tearing some things up out there, and he's got that car dialed in, and it's running pretty strong. He's having one heck of a good time. And once again, I think he's going to kind of thread the needle and head her on back down, making contact with the number 3 this time. That was Jason Ponick out of Kent. Number 7 coming back into the mix of things. He's going to get spun around in a big hurry. That was Scott Wright getting a spin courtesy of the 707 of Todd Pfeiffer, who's driving here tonight out of Kent. Zach Kochner down at the end is going to put a little time space between him to make some hard-hitting action here. He's going to split the difference between the 2.5 of Carl Buddy Schaefer and the 707 of Todd Pfeiffer out of Kenton. Kind of popping those loose, and the 7 wants in on some action as he pops in here. That's Scott Wright coming in out of Ravenna in that hot pink and black number 7. Looks like we are down to just about 5 vehicles left running. 5 pretty strong. With the 2.5 was out here last night. He was getting down toward the end. I believe he did win it in that 2.5. And I'll tell you, the mini car event went kind of late last night. Now, as we stated earlier, look at him. We got him hooked up 4 deep down there, almost 5, and the number 62 of Logan Blake. He's starting to get a little bit warm. You can start to see that steam kind of percolate out from the hood of the number 62. Hopefully that's not going to slow him up. 707 is going to come back and stack him up 3 deep. Todd Pfeiffer out of Kenton. He didn't quite get his breakaway made for the 2.5 of Carl Buddy Schaefer came in here out of Ravenna. Chasing him on down the line. I believe the number 7, Scott Wright, just stalled out, but I see some smoke coming out of the exhaust of that number 7 vehicle, so I'd say he's back moving and underway. It doesn't look like he's got her moving quite yet, but he's trying to do the best he can to get her going. And the 15 putting a good hit on this time. Zach Kochner from Ravenna. Now, as we stated, folks, this is the one and only event that they are going to have for the mini cars. We're going to run it down to the last vehicle running. This is their heat and feature rolled all into one, and I think so far they put on a pretty good show for you. They are down to the final. We're taking it down to the last one running. First place is going to pay $1,250. Second place, $500. Third place, $250, and fourth place is going to get $100. So we are paying the top 4 spots here in the mini car event. Only problem is I do see movement out of 5 vehicles right now. So we're going to have to see who the last one is that's going to have to be disqualified before we get into the big money round. Number 62 still running very strong. I'd say he's got a pretty good chance of getting into the money tonight. Logan Blake been running an excellent derby here. The 707 still running strong. Todd Pfeiffer out of Kenton. And it sounds like a number 7 stalled out once again. Hopefully Scott Wright going to be able to get his machine going again. Get back over to where the action's at. You can see they're starting to get warm, and it sounds like the 2.5 definitely starting to get a little bit sluggish, but he's still got her going. Number 62 coming in. And now they got them split up, 2 and 2. 707 Todd Pfeiffer out of Kenton, the 2.5 Buddy Schaefer. I don't think that was a good thing for the number 15. He kind of got popped up in the air, and Zach Kochner. Oh, hold him up. Hold him up. We got something going on under that. From this vantage point, the only thing I can see is little flames dancing. I'm not sure if that's is that his exhaust? He might just have the exhaust running out there. We saw last night a lot of time when these things turn them loose once again and let them get back to running. Number 7 still on the timer. They're keeping a close eye on him. Looks like things are just probably about down to the end. Not sure how much time he's got. 2.5 also getting on the timer right now. He's stalled out. Buddy Schaefer. And doggone it, there goes the flag on Scott Wright's number 7. So he's been counted out. The last four we have are definitely money-winning vehicles right now. The 707 right at track center's Todd Pfeiffer. He's here out of Kenton. The 2.5 of Buddy Schaefer out of Ravenna, sponsored by the Orlando Baking Company, is still running strong. Down at the east end of the track, we got the number 15 of Zach Kochner out of Ravenna, sponsored by the Well Doctor. And of course, Logan Blake in the 62 out of Mogador, all definitely guaranteed to be in prize money. We are down to the last four. Last four of them are the ones that are going to be in the money round. Again, 4 spots. Paying $100 for fourth, $250 for third, $500 for second, and $1250 for first place. Right now, it looks like 62 has stalled out. And I believe we may be down to 3 vehicles as the 707's making his way down. The problem we have, number 15 just not able to get any traction. Zach Kochner. Looks like 707 did his duty. The only problem is he kind of picked up an anchor in the form of the number 62, Logan Blake. And there goes the number 62. So I think third place may just have been decided. And that might be good because the 15 and the 707 are going to be able to get this settled the right way, hopefully. Mono a mono. The 2.5 of Buddy Schaefer is going to be the fourth place finisher. Third place for sure is the number 62 of Logan Blake. And right now, first and second up for grabs between the number 15 and the number 707. Zach Kochner is driving the number 15. He's here out of Ravenna, sponsored by the Well Doctor. And Todd Pfeiffer in the 707. Running here from Kenton. And it looks like it just got the front bumpers hooked up. And that didn't last too long. Right now they're trying to muscle their way out of the hole they got them in. Getting a little quiet down there. And I think the number 15 just lost his radiator. Things getting definitely warm in the front end of that. You can see the steam just percolating. Blowing out of the front. 707's making his breakaway. Todd Pfeiffer trying to shove his way down to where he's got a little bit more running room. The only problem is 15's right directly behind him. Zach Kochner, he's got that same thing going. See, as he's trying to refire it, he's got his exhaust running out. As soon as he popped up, kind of extinguished. He's just running a little bit on the rich side. Again, we'll probably see it more pronounced in those trucks and the big cars where they got the stacks on it, how they blow the flames out of there as they're trying to get them restarted. Tends to happen quite a bit when they get hot. Start running a little bit rich, have a lot of extra unburnt fuel. And there goes the number 15. Zach Kochner trying to hammer his way through there. He kind of got nosed into Douglas Morey's 61. And there comes Todd in the 707. Now, the big trucks, you are up next. The big trucks are coming up next. Things not looking too good for Zach Kochner in the number 15. He's kind of smashed down in there, and now he's... Oh, that's going to be it. He's just waving her off. So, folks, we have it. The 707 is going to be getting the checkered flag right now. Todd Pfeiffer out of Kenton is going to be here in first place. Second place is going to be Zach Kochner in the number 15 out of Ravenna, sponsored by the Well Doctor. Again, third place is a 62 of Logan Blake of Mogador. He drove one heck of a fine derby tonight. Had a lot of fun out there, it looked like. And, of course, in fourth place was the number 2.5, Buddy Schaefer out of Ravenna, sponsored by the Orlando Baking Company. Again, congratulations to those 4 drivers. All putting on a great show. Now, got a few thank yous to come out. $100 for fourth place. Right now, the 8 and 11 25ths, Russ Heater out of Alliance, sponsored by JL Excavation and American Graphics. The 401K, Bill Zaker out of Broadview Heights. The number 70, Vince Hamrick out of Ritztown, sponsored by Be Nice Engine and Bridget's Party Light and Gifts. That's Jeff Helmling in the 164 out of Ritztown, sponsored by D&K Materials and Belts Chiropractic. The 1811X, Jeff Eldrith out of Suffield, sponsored by Eldrith Photography. And I didn't get a chance to thank Shannon Eldrith for doing her interviews earlier. She did a fine job. She's very much into the Demolition Derby scene, and it is nice to have her involvement as well as with Jeff all around the state going to all these demolition derbies. That's the T91 Tim Novak out of Suffield, sponsored by Buckeye Glass. The 523. Sean Miller out of Atwater. Tom Learn snuck in the 71 out of Southington. Matt Nichols was in the 17. He's here out of Randolph, sponsored by Lang's Automotive. Here's another one from last night. It's going to be the 13 XX. Greg Kumos out of Atwater, sponsored by All Concrete. The number 2610. Troy Campbell out of Suffield, sponsored by the Henry Beers Company and Extreme Motors. The number 103. Rob Mangus out of Kent. The number 421 is Ralph Harper out of Ravenna, sponsored by Tar Heel Construction. Are ready? So let's give them a countdown, starting with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let them go. And the action's getting underway here in the truck event at your Smash It Demolition Derby, part of the 2010 Portage County Randolph Fair. Night number 2 of Smash It Demolition Derby action. The track is splitting, and once again, folks, this kind of happened last night as the track pulled out. Everybody kind of nosed down to the west, and look at the 421 throwing caution to the wind. That's Ralph Harper out of Ravenna. Right now, the number 71 of Tom Learn out of Southington having a little bit of problem. He's kind of hooked up on the T91 of Tim Novak out of Suffield, sponsored by Buckeye Glass. I'll tell you, the number 17, we saw the 17 here last night. That was Matt Nichols out of Randolph, sponsored by Lang's Automotive. These big trucks that have a lot of running room out here and putting on a great show already. And it looks like we have some problems with the 13 XXX Greg Kumos out of Atwater trying to get his refired. Now we do know that one seemed to have the same problems last night. And even coming through the inspection line today, he was having trouble keeping that machine going. So hopefully he'll be able to get the 13 XXX coming back going. Not a good place. Number 71, Tom Learn out of Southington. He's going to give a shot and receive one from Tim Novak in the T91. Right now, the number 17 of Matt Nichols out of Randolph finding himself in a bad spot up on top of that concrete barricade, and from past years of experience, they are not very forgiving. Looks like a number 71, Tom Learn, used a whole length of the track, finally making contact with Jeff Eldrith in the 1811X, the 421 of Ralph Harper out of Ravenna, running track central at present moment. He's over there next to the number 523, Sean Miller. Running here out of Atwater is shoulder in reversed and heading east. Doesn't look like the 13 Triple X is having too much luck getting his machine going once again. He was having some problems with the batteries, and quite possibly with the carburetor on that machine. Not quite sure exactly what was going on, but doesn't look like things are going too well. The 401K, Bill Zaker out of Broadview Heights. He's kind of mixing it up with the T91 of Tim Novak in the middle of the track. The number 70, Vince Hamrick, backing her up, swinging it around, and heading to the far end of the east side of the track right now. And there goes the 164, Jeff Helmling. That pickup truck has seen better days. Not a whole lot left of that thing, but Jeff Helmling's machine here out of Rootstown, you can see it popping up there, and he's sponsored by D&K Materials and Belts Chiropractic. I'd say he might need the Belts Chiropractic after running around here tonight. The 8 and 11 25th of Russ Heater. He's in one of the two SUVs that are out on the track. He's in that silver machine side by side with the 401K of Bill Zaker. Jeff Eldrith still in the 1811X side by side with the 164 of Jeff Helmling. Going back into the number 71 of Tom Learn. The 2610, Troy Campbell out of Suffield. He's over there with the 103. Rob Mangas out of Kent. Boy, look at the 401K pop around. Speaking of popping around, the 71, Tom Learn, rammed down the track into the side of the 103 of Rob Mangas out of Kent. The number 70 getting popped around. That's Vince Hamrick out of Rootstown in that orange pickup truck. Looks like he's looking around to find out who the next victim's going to be. And look at the 71 go. Tom Learn finding himself sideways, but lucky the 70 kind of slid. And he's going to find his front nose fully exposed to the 421. And he unleashes the wrath of that black pickup truck. That was Ralph Harper out of Ravenna, sponsored by Tar Heel Construction. He's making the break with the 103 of Rob Mangas out of Kent. The 2610, Troy Campbell, being shoved down the track by the number 71 of Tom Learn. I think the T91, Tim Novak, started to head down the track, and he saw that back bumper of the number 71 come back and decided that wasn't for him. And I'd say that the 401K just lost a radiator because it's mighty, mighty steamy inside that machine. Looks like it momentarily knocked the life out of the 401K. I'd say he's trying to get it refired. And the T91, Tim Novak just took a good hit in the side right in behind the driver's door. That was a good legal hit. It was behind the driver's door. Now again, the driver's door is the one safety zone that these drivers have on these vehicles. One area they do have to watch out and not make contact with. And the T91 looks like it's starting to kind of bend up, fold up on the sides and collapse just a little bit. But sometimes that does kind of help them out. If you have noticed, empty pop cans, quite easy to bend. If you get that thing bent and collapsed a little bit, it does kind of add some structural strength to it. Here comes Troy Campbell in the 2610. Being pushed down with a little help from the 103 of Rob Mangas from Kent. That's 401K. Bill Zaker's machine back running. Uh-oh. The 7-0's got to go. That's Vince Hamrick out of Rootstown. He went back to put one heck of a crunch on the 103. And Rob Mangus, look at the mangled mess. That's the number 70 just left. He was kind of waiting to pounce, and when he got his opening, he took advantage of it. And another advantage being taken by Ralph Harper in the 421 as he went into the rear of Jeff Helmling's number 164, who's heading down to the other end. It looks like these trucks are starting to push the barricades around a little bit. 3 of them heading down there. The 421 of Ralph Harper, the number 70 of Vince Hamrick, and the T91 of Tim Novak. Jeff Eldredge in the 1811X is making a breakaway, but his nose was right wide open for the 71 of Tom Learn out of Southington to make contact with. Like Russ Heater down at the western end of the track, right next to the 164. Jeff Helmling. And we've kind of got 4 and 4. The track kind of broke up right now. We do have a couple of them already out for the count. And a 2610, Troy Campbell out of Suffield. Kind of watching that, and there goes the 2 SUVs. They're back to back and bumper to bumper right at Track Central. That was Russ Heater on the other side in the 8 and 11 25ths out of Alliance here. His sponsor is JL Excavation and American Graphics. And doggone it, there goes the radiator out of Russ Heater's 8 and 11 25ths. The T91 and a 401K mixing it up. Bill Zaker and Tim Novak. Tim's in the T91. Bill in the 401K. Bill's getting a little visit from Jeff Eldredge in the 1811X. And Jeff ran that vehicle last night. Looks like he made a few repairs to it. Got her back on the track. And again, that's a testament to what these guys can do. It does take a lot of time. The number 103, Rob Mangus. He's been getting beat up on here as of lately. He had a rough and wild ride courtesy of the number 70 a little bit earlier. And just now, more recently, the 8 and 11 25ths is doing the thing. You can see the 7-0. Oh my goodness, hold him up, hold him up, hold him up, hold him up. Drivers, hold him up out there. Jeff drove a heck of a good derby tonight. It's like Lady Luck wasn't on there, but you can see how that truck kind of folded up like an accordion. But again, for safety's sake, we're going to take Jeff out of there. And let him go, getting the action back underway here in the big truck event. Again, we are going to be taking this down to the last vehicle running. The last vehicle running is going to be getting the first place prize of $1,250. Second place $500. Third place is $250, and fourth place is $100. And Jeff Eldredge is going to be giving a little bit of a shove the full length of the track to Russ Heater in the 8 and 11 25th. These two guys mixing it up out there. The Jeff Eldredge here out of Suffield and Russ Heater out of Alliance in that silver SUV. Got 2 of them down on one end, and amazingly the 103 still managed to keep moving out there. He's got a whole lot of damage to the front steering components of that 103. Most of that was courtesy of the number 70 truck. The 70 did one heck of a job. He came down there and took advantage of that and just really let the 103 know what's happening right at Track Central. And here comes Jeff Eldredge in the 1811X to go nose to nose with Russ Heater once again. The 2610 still running strong. He's down there side by side. That's Troy Campbell out of Suffield. The T91, Tim Novak, down at the eastern end, kind of back-to-back with the 103 of Rob Manges out of Kent. And I do see movement out of 5 of them. Again, we are going to be paying the top 4. And the T91's trying to bust his way through the middle of the mangled mess out there. And look at Mr. Eldredge come down the track. And he's just kind of ramming his way through here. Equal opportunity hitter. He went after the T91 of Tim Novak. Now turning his sights over to Russ Heater in the 8 and 11/25. And the T91, I think Tim Novak's pickup truck's going to start to do the same fold-up. Jeff Helmling's number 164 is kind of doing earlier. You can see it's got the same sort of look to it. Hopefully that thing will go a little bit longer before she finally does completely bend. I'm not sure, but it looks like the 103 of Rob Manges red pickup's kind of having the same sort of problem, because he really took some punishment and abuse out there earlier from a number of vehicles, but number 70 was the original hit that kind of started to do that 103 in. And Vince Hamrick out of Rootstown, he's out, but he drove an excellent derby tonight. And I think he might just be in the running. Now we got to wait till the end of the night and our panel of judges to decide, but we do give away the Mad Dog Trophy for the hardest hit of the night. We'll see how that pans out. But I would have to say for sure the number 70 is probably in the running. Still got 4 vehicles running, it looks like. Movement out of 4 of them right now. I'd say it looks like the 103 has been scratched. Rob Manges out of Kent. But Rob did an excellent job of driving. He just really took a lot of hits out there. And speaking of taking hits, Russ Heater just took one on the nose, courtesy of Jeff Eldredge. Down at the east end of the track, and I'll tell you folks, I don't see a lot of movement out of Russ Heater's 8 and 11/25. Tim Novak in the T91 still out there out of Suffield, sponsored by Buckeye Glass. And Troy Campbell, the 2610, still running strong. It looks like things are starting to go a little slow, especially for the 8 and 11/25 and the T91. 2 of them still broke loose pretty well. 2610 of Troy Campbell and Jeff Eldredge in the 1811X. And here comes Jeff Eldredge, spinning the 1811X around. I'm going to switch things up a little bit and go nose to nose with Troy Campbell in the 2610. And it looks like the 8 and 11/25 is going to get 4th place. He has taken his flag off the doorpost, and referee's going down to keep a close eye on the other vehicle down there, which was the T91 of Tim Novak that has done the same, and it's going to be settling for 3rd. Hold them up, hold them up. Drivers, looks like we need one of those Aleppo Wrench Bobcats out here. Now it's only when they starting to get jockeyed around for position, and now he's going to get off to the side to start hammering away on the 2610 of Troy Campbell. I don't think he wants to go nose to nose with him after they just momentarily got hooked up. But I think the life has been knocked out of it, and I think old Troy's going to settle for second, and he just took it away. And what do you know, Jeff Eldred's going to score another win here at your 2010 Portage County Randolph Fair Truck event. Jeff Eldred first place in that 1811X. Second place is going to be Troy Campbell in the 2610. He's here out of Suffield, sponsored by the Henry Beers Company and Extreme Motorsports. Third place is Tim Novak in the T91 out of Suffield, sponsored by Buckeye Glass. And in fourth is the 8 and 11/25 Russ Heater out of Alliance, sponsored by JL Excavation and American Graphics. So Stevens out of Newton Falls. Like he's got a couple of fans in the stands with him tonight. Number 06, Thomas Deck out of Ravenna. I'd say he's sponsored by Design Fabricators. Number 96, Brian Studer out of Brewster's in the house right now in that black and green machine. The number 8, Darren Durs out of Deerfield. Chris White's in the 5/8. He's here out of Rootstown, sponsored by the Radiator Works and Wells Excavating Randolph. And that was the number 77, Larry Baldwin, roaring onto the track out of Randolph, sponsored by Baldwin Motorsports. Like he was a 2010 champion at the Wayne County Speedway. Number 421 coming onto the track. Guess that's the 420, I'm sorry. Matt Miller out of Rootstown. Todd Yoho in the 44X was here last night. He's got that thing back together. He's driving from Rootstown, sponsored by Portage Marble and Granite. Looks like we may need one of those Aleppo Rinse Bobcats. Is that what they're calling for? If we could get one of those out here, please. Like the number 77, Larry Baldwin, having some troubles. Hold them up down there at the far end. They're going to be guiding them in. That was Dan Kumos in the 63 XXX here out of Brimfield, sponsored by All Concrete. I'm thinking that was definitely Luke Hankin in the 2210 out of Outwater, sponsored by the Tiki Tan. Now for racing. And that's Steven Serva out of Akron, sponsored by S&S Hauling and TK Tire. I'm starting with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let them go. And the big cars are now underway here at the Smash It, Crash It, Tear 'em Up Automobile Demolition Derby. Night number 2, large car event. And the roar of these big cars is very distinguishable. Here's the number 8. Darren Durr, sounds like he's got some horses up under the hood of that machine. Sounding pretty beefy. I know a couple of these guys were asking specifically if we had a hardest hit trophy, because that's what they were after. And the 5/8. Chris White out of Rootstown, popping down the track, the 44X of Todd Yoho, who's here last night. Look at the number 8, heading on down to the track, spinning it around, and here he comes. Throwing caution to the wind. Who's it going to be? He's going to kind of thread the needle, but he's going to be chased down by the number 420 of Matt Miller out of Rootstown. And the 85 of Steven Serva finding himself in a bad predicament up on that concrete barricade. And folks, I'd be willing to say he's probably not going to be able to shake that one loose unless somebody is nice enough to pop him off of there. And I'd say with $2,500 on the line, people aren't going to be all that too generous, I would have to say. The 96 heading her down the track at a pretty good clip. That was Brian Struder out of Brewster. He was back-to-back with the number 40. Around 27 also down at that particular end. That's Karen Hood out of Randolph. I'll tell you, folks, that's going to rattle the cobwebs right there in the number 8. Oh, we've got some hard hitting going on. The 06 is getting it tonight. That's Thomas Deck out of Ravenna. I'll tell you, that number 8 took a beating on many different sides. The 2210, Luke Hankin, he was doing some hitting, and look at that, we've got a broke-off axle. I'll tell you, the number 8 sustained a lot of damage out of that last one. The number 96, Brian Struder, rolling into track central, right into the nose of the 2210, and doing a slide over into the number 8 of Darren Durr, who's sitting right in the middle of the track. One of the reasons is he completely sheared off the axle on that number 8. Got a lot of horsepower still running, just no way to get her hooked down to the track. A 199, Mike Lovejoy out of Ravenna. He's kind of sandwiched in between the number 31 of Eric Stevens and the 44X of Todd Yoho down on the west end of the track. 5'8" is also down there. Chris White out of Rootstown. And down at the far east end of the track, we do have the Tiki Tan machine, the 2210, Luke Hankin out of Atwater. He's side by side with Thomas Deck in that 06, who's driving here from Ravenna. Looks like they're pushing the 27 out of the way. That's courtesy of Todd Yoho in the 44X. Karen Hood gets moved around and she's going to punch her way down the track. And look at the 44X go, Toddy Yoho, using the nose of that machine to ram his way through anything and everything that gets in his way. In this particular time, it was Mike Lovejoy in that 199 that needed to be moved. And Mike Lovejoy is having a little bit of a disadvantage right now because he's completely lost all of the tire off of the right rear on the 199 machine. Matt Miller in the 420s down to some serious dust. He's got some hard dirt, looks like spinning up. Karen Hood's right behind him in the 27, pushing her way through there, and the 5'8" looks like he's coming down toward the middle of the track to push his way through as well. That was Chris White out of Rootstown, sponsored by Radiator Works. Looks like the number 96, Brian Struder, is starting to slow down just a wee bit. He's got the rear trunk part of his machine popped around, and folks, I'll tell you what, looks like the 420 of Matt Miller. He had a good firm grip on that steering wheel, and it's a good thing because the way the 06 popped back into there, Thomas Deck hit him right on that front steer tire, and I'll tell you, that could spin that steering wheel around in a big hurry, and if you got your arm inside of it, that's not where you want it to be. Brian Struder in the 96 down at the other end, finding himself in a bad spot, because I'll tell you, when those trunk decks go down like that, they dig in, and once they do that, you can see the result. He is sitting there just sitting and spinning with nowhere to go. Looks like it may be the beginning of the end in for the number 96 of Brian Studer. It's kind of a catch-22. They either go down and you can't move in reverse, or they go up and you have absolutely no idea what's coming at you and you can't see where you're going. So that's always a bad thing. And the 199 up on the concrete barricade right at this moment. Mike Lovejoy out of Ravenna, sponsored by Be Nice Racing. And I'll tell you, the 199 definitely starting to get warm out there, folks. Starting to belt some serious steam out of there, and he's trying to do all he can, but I'll tell you, those barricades really can hook you, and once they do, they are not very forgiving. It looks like his geyser is getting a little bit longer and longer. Each and every second ticking off of the clock. And the number 420 removed his flag from his doorpost. So Matt Miller out of contention right now, and it looks like they have shut off the 199 as well. He just had his time run out. Mike Lovejoy out of Ravenna driving a good derby, but the concrete barricade won out against the muscle of the 199. And down at the far end, we can still see movement. Hold him up down there, hold him up, drivers, hold him up, hold him up, hold him up. Not quite sure we got the red flags are flying. Get the action back underway here. And right now I do see movement from the 5/8 of Chris White out of Rootstown. The number 44X Todd Yoho out of Rootstown, sponsored by Portage Marble and Granite. The 06 down there kind of embedded down at the far end. That's Thomas Deck out of Ravenna. And what do you know? The 27 of Karen Hood out of Randolph, still running strong. Looks like he's going to need to get a little bit of an alignment on the number 27. Her front passenger tire having some serious issues there with the camber on that. That thing's laying face down. And the 5/8 still trying to pack her car down into the corner a little bit further. Chris White out of Rootstown. Boy, look at the 44X Todd Yoho. Swinging his way around the back of that 06 of Thomas Deck. Got kind of a ramp thing going, the way that thing's folded down there, and it really popped the 44X up in the air in a big hurry. We do have 4 vehicle guaranteed prize money. Chess match right now. These guys don't want to get too far out into the thick of things. The 5/8 of Chris White trying to set his sights on the 44X. Looks like we are down to just the 2 of them. Is it going to be 44X or 5/8 of Chris White? The 06 of Thomas Deck and the 27 of Karen Hood have run out of time. tell you, this has been a very fast track tonight. That is for sure. And 5'8", Chris White putting the hammer down, nosing over engine. Todd Yoho's number 44X, chasing him around, not quite able to get him spun around in time. Kind of doing hey, he's keeping the circumference tight. Uh-oh. There goes the radiator or a hose or something in there. A lot of steam burgling out. Hold him up. I'm not sure. I think he wants out of that. I don't know what's going on. I think there's the winner declared there, the 44X. Todd Yoho's into first place finish tonight. The 5'8" of Chris White will settle for second. He's here out of Rootstown. I'm not sure if he got burned. He may need looked at. He's kind of standing there. I'm not sure if he's okay or if he needs to get... There's a lot of steam coming out of that. Now we do need to figure out on the third. Is that third place is over there is Karen? Okay, third place is Karen Hood at the number 27, which means the fourth place finish is going to go to the 06 of Thomas Deck. So again, first place Todd Yoho in the 44X, second place 5'8", third is Karen Hood in the 27, and fourth Thomas Deck in the 06. So congratulations to all those drivers. Again, if you are out on the track, please watch what's going on. The drivers on the way out, please be careful. A lot of people in the pits. If you have prize money coming your way, please pick that up as soon as possible. And we also need the driver of truck number 71, Tom Learn. If you could go to the registration trailer, we'll send the hardest hit for the truck hit down to the registration trailer. But again, that's going to go to Tom Learn out of the truck event for the Mad Dog Trophy. He's got the hardest hit trophy of the night in the number 71. Again, congratulations. We do appreciate everybody coming out. It's still early tonight, folks. Go out and enjoy the Midway. Enjoy all this wonderful fair food that we still have out here for a very short period of time in Randolph. It looks like it's about 9:25. Still a lot of time to go out and ride those Bates amusement rides. Take full advantage of the wonderful evening we have, nice and cool. So please go out and enjoy that. And again, if you would like a copy of tonight's Demolition Derby, you can stop up the announcer stand. Mid-Vid is here capturing all the event. They also have...
Onto the track, here comes the 2.5. Buddy Schaefer out of Savannah, sponsored by the Orlando Baking Company. The number 69. Danny Snyder out of Deerfield, sponsored by Snyder Construction. We were here last night. The number 715 had a big night. He proposed to his sweetheart. That's Chris Villers out of Ravenna. And by the way, she did say yes. He is officially amongst the engaged with Amanda now. So, by the way, that's Amanda's brother, and then number 38, Adam Somerville, Suffield, sponsored by Suffield Carryout and Baylor Construction. The number 62, Logan Blake out of Mogador. The number 527, Cody Christie out of Kent, sponsored by Collision Brad. The number 01, Sean Petrie out of Manaway, sponsored by Sean Petrie Horse Joint. The number 88, Dustin Adelman out of Ravenna, sponsored by Bruno Pizza and Joe's Auto. The number 119, Marty Shields out of Akron, sponsored by Anything Automotive. I'm not sure what that number is. I do see the 83, Jason out of Atwater, sponsored by Donnie Detour. The number 15, Zach Costner out of Ravenna, sponsored by the Well Knocker. Josh Reeves in the 735 out of Kent, sponsored by Keller Williams and Kathy Reeves. We've had Scott Berkeley in the number 12 out of Atwater, sponsored by Keller Williams and Kathy Reed.
It was kind of unusual.
That's the number 61. Rose Moore, the second out of Atwater, sponsored by Keller Williams and Kathy Reed. Todd Pfeiffer's in the 707 out of Kent, the Gen 1. Kevin Kirkley out of Ravenna, sponsored by Kirkley Auto Wrecking. The number 218. Ben Arbor is here from Ravenna. I believe that must be the number 19 of Robert Keeter, sponsored by Auto and McLean Home Improvement out of Ravenna, the number 19. That's Jason Ponick out of number 4. Buddy Schaefer is the 707 on Piper again. Got off a dozen moves. 712 on the man. And that's coming to the right. Coming in out of Ravenna. Down just about 5. Run. 5 pretty strong. 2.5 was out here last night. You can get down toward the end, I believe. Not the race last night. I was saying earlier, look at him. Got a 4 feet down there, almost 5. Number 62, closing place. He started getting a little bit warm. Started percolate out. 62. Hopefully that's not going to fun up. 707. Come back to the back on 3 feet. So I'd find it out again. Didn't quite get it right away. Maybe with a 2.5. So, Buddy Schaefer is come on down the line. I believe it's number 7. Down the right. Just all out. Folks coming out of the song. Number 7. So I'd say he's back. vehicles right now. The 707 is right at track center. Tom Piper, he's here out of Kent. The 2.5 Buddy Schaefer out of Ravenna, sponsored by the Orlando Racing Company. It's still running strong. east end of the track is at the number 15. Zach Cochran out of Ravenna, and of course, Logan Blake in the 62. Out of Mogador, all definitely guaranteed the end prize money. We are down to the last four. Last four of them are the ones that are going to be in the money round against four. Paying $100 for fourth, $650 for third, $500 for second, and $1250 for first place. Right now, looks like 62 has stalled out. And I believe we may be down to 3 meters. 707 making his way down. So we have number 15 looks like 707 did his duty. The only problem is he kind of picked up an anchor in the one with the number 62, Logan Blake. And there goes the number 62. So I think third place may just have been decided. That might be good for 15. They're going to be able to get this settled right. 2.5. Buddy Chambers going to be the fourth place finisher. Third place is the curve. Logan Blake. And right now, first and second up for grabs between the number 15 and the number 7. Driver number 15. Then I bumped by 12. Piper in the 707. Excuse me, Kent. Looks like he's got the first one. And that didn't last too long. Now they're trying to muscle their way out of the hole they got in. Quiet down there. I think the number 15 just off the three. Everything's getting definitely warm in the front end of that. You can see the breakaway, Todd Piper. Trying to shove his way down through a little bit more running. About his 15 right directly behind that Cochran. See as he's trying to reach fire. Got his exhaust running out. As soon as he popped up, kind of thing was just a little bit off the brake side. But of course now, and the big cars, they got the fans on. Now they blow the flames. When they get hot, there goes number 15. That Cochran trying to hammer his there. They kind of got there comes Todd. Going to be it. He's just waving her off. We have it 7-0-7. It's going to be getting the checkered flag right now. Todd Piper out of Kenton going to be here in first place. Second place is going to be Zach Cochran, the number 15 out of Ravenna, sponsored by the Well Doctors. Again, third place is the 62 of Logan Blake of Mogador. He drove one heck of a fine derby tonight. Had a lot of fun out there, it looks like. And of course, in fourth place was the number 2.5, Buddy Schaefer out of Russ Peter out of Alliance, sponsored by JL Excavation and Upstairs Traffic. The 401K, Bill Singer out of Broad Right. The number 70, Miss Hamrick out of Rivertown, sponsored by D9 Engine and Bridges Party Light and yes. That's Jeff Tumling in the 164 out of Rivertown, sponsored by D&K Materials and Ira Brack. The 1811X Jeff Eldredge out of Suffield, sponsored by Eldredge Photography. I didn't get a chance to thank Shannon Eldredge for doing her interviews earlier. She did a fine job. She's very much into the demolition derby scene, and it is nice to have her involvement in the song, as well as with Jeff all around the state going to all these demolition derbies. That's a T91 Tim Novak out of Suffield, sponsored by Buckeye Glass, 523. Sean Miller out of Atwater. Tom Works must get it to 71 out of Southington. Matt Nichols in the 17, he's out of Randolph, sponsored by Lang's Automotive. Here's another one from last night. It's going to be 13 at Double X. Greg Kumos out of Atwater, sponsored by All Concrete. Number 2610. Troy Campbell out of Suffield, sponsored by the Henry Gears Company and Extreme Motors. Number 103, Ralph is out of Kent. Number 421, Ralph Harper out of Ravenna, sponsored by Tar Heel Construction. Like number 71. Suffield. The Russ Heater out of Alliance at overhead. Down on one end of the race, 103. Little man moving out there. He's got a whole lot of hair. On that 103. That's courtesy of the number 70 truck. 70 did one heck of a job. He came down there and took advantage of that, and it does really let the 103 know what happened. Trying to track several. And here comes Jeff Elvers in the 1811X. We go nose to nose. The Russ Heater once again, the 2610 still running strong. Down there by that Troy camp. Out of Suffield. P91, Jim Novak. Down that lead there in. Kind of back to back with the 1-2-3. This is Rob and Nathan out of Kent. I didn't see moving out of 5 of them. P91 trying to bust his way through the middle of the center net out there. Look at Minister Elvis coming out the track. Kind of ramming his way through here. Equal opportunity hitter. He went after the P91 Novak. Now turning his sights over the Russ Heater in the 8th and the rest of 25th. P91, I think, Jim Novak, I think that truck is going to the same hold up. Jeff Elvis, number 164, got the same sort of hold. I'm not sure if it looks like the 103 is all things. Red pickup and the same sort of problem. They really took the fuse out there. Number 70. looks like we need one of those Aleppo Ridge Bobcats out here. Now, it's only when they get down to the last two vehicles. And it looks like they're ready to turn loose and let them go in already. Jeff Nelson in the 1811X. Now he's going to get off to the side. It's going to hammer away on the 26 Cannon Troy Campbell. He wants to go nose to nose with the mess they just went through and got pushed up. Out of it. I think old Troy's going to settle for second. He just took it away, and what do you know, Jeff Elder's going to score another win here at your 2010 Portage County Randolph Fair Truck Event. Jeff Elder's first place in that 1811X. Second place is going to be Troy Campbell in the 2610. He's here out of Suffield, sponsored by the Henry Beer Company Extreme Motorsports. Third place is Tim Novak in the T91 out of Suffield, sponsored by Buckeye Glass. And in fourth is the 8 and 11/25 Russ Peters out of the last one like we have all on the other one. Number 27, Karen Hood leading the way. She's here out of Randolph is at number 27. Number 31, Eric Stevens out of Newton Falls. Got a couple of fans in the stands tonight. Number 06, Thomas Decker out of Ravenna. I think he's sponsored by the Brian Fabricator. Number 96, Brian Sticker out of Brewster. Outside down the black and green machine. The number 8, Darren Muir out of here. Chris White's in the 5-8. Now, run by the radio works and well estimating Randolph. That was the number 77, Larry Baldwin roaring onto the track out of Randolph, sponsored by Baldwin Motorsports. He was the 2010 champion of the Wayne County Speedway. Number 4 is 121 coming on the track. And that's 420, I'm sorry. Miller out of Rootstown. Todd Hill in the 44X was here last night. He got that thing back together. Driving from Rootstown front line, 14 marble and granite. Looks like we may need one of those Aleppo Ridge Bobcats. That's what they're calling for. Get one of those out here, please. Like the number 77, Larry Baldwin having some trouble. Hold them up down there at the far end. They're going to be guys ahead. That was Dan Kubos in the 63 Triple X here out of Brimfield, sponsored by All Concrete. That was definitely Luke Hankin in the 2210 out of Atwater, sponsored by the T-Man. The 199, Mike Lovejoy out of Ravenna, sponsored by Nice Racing. And that's Steven Serva out of Akron, sponsored by SMS Hauling and DK Tires. Looks like it's have shut off 199 as well. As time run out, Mike Lovejoy had a repent driving a good derby, but not a great derby. One out here. Clock from 199. Down to it. Hold him up, drivers. Hold him up, hold him up, hold him up. Flags are flying, and they're ready to turn away from the action back underway here. Right now, there's a big movement from the 44 next by Brandon. points out of that. I don't know what's going on. But I think there's the winner declared there. The 44X Todd Yoho's in the first place finish tonight. The 5'8" of Chris White will settle for second. He's here out of Rootstown. I'm not sure if he got burned. He may need looked at. He's got a in there. I'm not sure if he's okay.